dip my cup in and measure 3 cups. 3 cups of flour, and I put in, Grandma don't measure very much, but she has made enough that I can kind of guess about a cup and a half. I take my pastry cutter and cut the Crisco into my flour. I use about a half a cup of Crisco to a cup of flour. And I put in 3 cups, so I have to have a cup and a half of Crisco, wouldn't I? I didn't know till last night I was going to do this. How about that? I think I'm going to put in a little more Crisco because I have to have it just so. See, if I would measure with cups, I might do better. I added about a teaspoon of salt to my flour before I put the lard in, or the Crisco. You can use lard or Crisco. I mix it with my pastry cutter until it gets crumbly. And this will be the pie crust. I'm mixing up the pie crust. I usually use more than just a cup of flour because I make more than 1 pie at a time usually. And I can keep it in the refrigerator if I don't use it all. And then I can have it anytime I want to make a pie. I can go to the refrigerator and get the crust dough. I don't think I'm going to use all of that, so I'm going to add about a half a cup of cold water and mix it with my crumbly. And that will make it stick together so I can roll it out. Might need a little more. I need to put a little flour on my pastry board, and I'm ready for my just to have to get a ball of it together. And I'm ready to roll for my pie pan. Turn it over so it doesn't stick to my rolling pin. I roll it till it gets a little larger, and then I turn it over 1 time, and you don't turn it over anymore. and I roll it out till it's quite thin, maybe like 1/8 of an inch. And I fold it over in half and put my pie tin under. Then I can flop it back over. Now, I didn't get all my ingredients, did I? I mean, things to work with. I always just use a plain knife to scrape the edges off, so it'll be to the edge of my pie pan. Now I'm ready to put the cornstarch in. We need cornstarch because the apples are juicy, and I'll put in about 2 big teaspoonfuls of cornstarch, and I will put in 1/2 cup of sugar, and then I'll mix that up a little bit. This keeps it so it makes it kind of a jelly-like around the apples, so they aren't real runny when you eat your pie. I'm going to sprinkle a little in the bottom. Maybe about half of it. Cornstarch and sugar. Now I'm ready to cut the apples. Some people make a apple pie filling when they freeze it, and they can just dump it in like a normal pie filling, but I just freeze my apples. We peel them and quarter them, and then when I make my pies, I cut them in, and I will add a little more. I even have ice in them yet. This takes a little time, but it wouldn't be good if you didn't cut them up. Now I'm ready to add a little more of my sugar cornstarch. Sprinkle it over the apples. And I'll add a few more apples. I add a little cinnamon to mine. I will do that after I'm through with cutting my apples. They give it a little different taste. Some people put a little butter